Hey everyone! I'm back with the December 2017 ArtSnacks Challenge. I'm not sure if I'll continue to do this as a monthly series, however I'm always curious to see what subscription services put out around the holidays, so I definitely wanted to do this one for anyone curious. But, before I tell you what I'll be doing today, let's talk about what's in the box. First up is this set of Bruynzeel colored pencils. As you may know from previous videos, I am not a seasoned colored pencil artist, so out of everything in the box, these were the things I struggled with the most. A big part of that is because, at first glance, these seem to be great holiday-themed colors. But first glances can be deceiving. That said, the pencils themselves are totally fine, and I found they work surprisingly well with water despite not being part of their watercolor pencil line, which was pretty cool. Opening up the little tissue paper package inside, we next have a KRINK K32 acrylic paint marker. I've heard about this brand for years, and I've been interested to try them out to see how they compare to what I already know. ArtSnacks had just provided an acrylic marker from another brand last month, and I strongly prefer this KRINK marker to the one in the November box. I'll need to play with it a little more though to decide if it can unseat Posca pens as my favorite paint marker. As is the case with most, if not all, paint markers, you need to do a little work to get these going, but the paint was very opaque and consistent after it was prepped. Next up is this metallic gold Fibralo marker, which was a little less gold than I prefer, but the flow of the ink performed well enough to count. And then this Pentel Slicci Gel Pen, which I really loved. It honestly might be the finest point I've ever used on a gel pen. Finally, the last thing provided was this sample of Grumbacher mixed media paper. Not sure if it's what they were going for, but it's the perfect size for creating a bookmark, so that's exactly what I did. The very first thing that came to mind as soon as I got a quick glance of what I would be working with was a stack of Goombas getting a power moon from the new Mario Odyssey game. I felt it would fill up the space given, and based on my first impressions of the box, I thought the colors would come together well for it. But remember when I said first glances can be deceiving? Yeah, that was definitely the case here. The gold was way greener than I anticipated, and the red pencil was basically orange. And those two assumptions alone played the most major part in the downfall of this bookmark. I suppose I should explain. The products were just fine on their own. However, when starting these challenges, long before I was posting them to YouTube, I made a rule for myself that I had to go into every month creating my challenge sketch without swatching anything that came in the box and stick with it to try and push myself creatively. Since I'm entirely self-taught, this has been incredibly helpful because it's forced me to test and stretch unfamiliar products in ways I wouldn't originally think of. It usually works out well, and in the year I've been getting these boxes, I would say there's only been maybe one other piece I didn't like. I know that if I allowed myself to swatch and think more critically about how to use these things together, I would definitely come up with something presentable. However, I genuinely enjoy creating things just for the joy of creating, so it's not entirely necessary for each piece to have a purpose. And I still wanted to continue that in my videos to show when things don't work out, since I think I learn a great deal from those experiences, and I thought you might too. So what's the lesson here? I don't know, but it probably has something to do with always using waterproof markers, because I always use waterproof markers, and I didn't this time, and it definitely bit me in the ass. I'm generally pretty pleased with the combinations given to us in these boxes, but I think, considering it is the holiday season, it could have been curated a little bit better to include more vibrant or distinct colors to match a more festive theme. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad to have these things, I will continue to use them. However, bright blue, green gold, dark gray olive, yellow, brown, they don't really sing out Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, winter solstice to me. Maybe you'll disagree, but I think I was pretty much doomed at the first blush here. I'll be interested to see what other people come up with though, since I do believe they're solid products, they just didn't work out in my favor this time around. So, as you've seen, I did something I don't normally do in these challenges, and that's cheat. I pulled in a white gel pen, a water brush, and a couple thicker black pens to try and pull things together. I felt like they were incredibly necessary, and if it's the first time I've cheated on these in a year, I'll give myself the pass. Along the lines of cheating, I decided to laminate the bookmark since the mixed media paper sadly didn't take on water very well and curled. I figured if I were to run it the opposite way of the roller in my laminator, it would straighten out, and it did. So I say it's a success as far as that's concerned. You'll see me cut off a piece of the pouch here, and that's because I hate to waste an entire pouch on a single small project. They'll tell you, with any laminating pouch, to make sure to put the sealed edge into the machine first, and you should follow that advice. They'll come out warped if you don't, but you can always keep any extra pieces you cut off to use with an iron. So crafty. And if you don't want to invest in a laminator, it's just as good to buy the pouches and press them by hand. So that's it for my December 2017 ArtSnacks challenge. I hope you enjoyed watching me achieve moderate success at the Goomba bookmark. If you enjoy my videos and would like to see more, please like and subscribe, maybe hit that little notification bell, and I'll see you here next week. Best luck to you.